Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. We are so excited to be having a Wealth Wednesday conversation with Eszylfie Taylor, one of the top financial advisors in the entire country. What a credit that is.
What?
Amazing. Yeah.
Thank
You might
you.
also recognize Eszylfie as the face of LinkedIn.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Wow.
How did
Yes.
how did you get that? Like,
How does that happen?
Random, really. I got an email in Facebook, and there was a casting director reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm casting a commercial for LinkedIn. You want to be in it?" So I almost immediately just think it's spam, right? So just gonna delete it.
Right.
And but what caught my attention, she said, "Oh, I've also tried to email you on LinkedIn, but I didn't hear back." So I'm like, at least it's a real person,
Yeah.
right? So I respond, and long and the short of it, they said they're looking for a financial advisor, and would I audition? So I said, okay. And once the audition happened, I was like, oh, that's mine, right?
you
So,
felt
yeah, literally a month later, they're shooting at my home, in my office, and the commercial ran nationally for about 4 months, and it was a tremendous exposure. So it was great. Yeah.
So you're obviously a spiritual man. We talked about that earlier,
Yes.
and I think it's interesting because I think it's a real clear time in history for spirituality to claim their birthright of prosperity, hence finances. So what does it mean for you? What does your industry mean for you as far as empowering and your mission?
Yeah, I think it's important. I always say, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it with amazing accuracy, right? So
Touche.
it's really my job to simply give people the information to make educated decisions, right? And really identify, okay, where do you want to be, and then help them create an action plan. The average person is financially illiterate, and right? And it's not because they're not smart or they don't want to plan. It's just, where do you learn these things, right? Where do you learn about insurance and investments and taxes and real estate, right? So I just try to demystify these things for clients, and then just educate and empower people. And then
where did you learn?
the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you say a school, bro?
Yeah. I graduated top of my class, right?
No doubt.
You know, I graduated magna cum laude with a degree in business administration, and I didn't know 99% of this stuff until I was in it, doing it, right? And so my clients are the direct benefactors of me being in this business for 18 years. But not only my experiences, I can draw on all the meetings and things that I've learned from other clients as well, and bring that to the table, right? So again, it's not rocket science, but it's like trying to drink from a fire hydrant, right? There's just so much coming at you. It's hard to take it all in. So
Wow, it's profound. It's interesting what you say about the MBA programs too. I went to an MBA program,
Right.
and I expected one thing, and I got out and I realized I didn't really learn what I thought I was going to
Sure.
learn. You know, I sort of learned how to be a mid-level manager. And my dad always had an expression like, never let your schooling get in the way of your education.
Right.
And so I hear a lot of what you're saying is, you know, you're sharing things that people might not get, or probably don't get through
Right.
school or other means, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people all the time, I think I'm the biggest failure they've ever met. I tell people, how can you say that? And I'm like, well, I just continue to fall, and I learn from those experiences, and then get better, right? And try not to repeat those mistakes. But to the extent that we can share our stories and our insights with people and help them avoid some of those pitfalls, I think that's my mission in life.
I really admire your ability to fail fast,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah.
How do you remove the fear from fail?
I think I have a greater fear of failure than I do have a desire to succeed, if that makes sense, right? So like, success is great, but it's just failing and not being able to meet obligations. That's what really drives, me. One thing, being in business for some time now, I just truly believe in the process, right? I live by this adage, givers get, right? By sharing and helping and being authentic, I just believe that the money, the business, it will come, right? And so I literally just try to, build relationships with people, help people, and I think it just all, I don't know, the universe has a way
Right.
of working it out.
So where do you think the line is between, some people are like, I just want to hire a financial advisor, I don't want to think about it, versus like, they need to be educated somewhat, even just to make the decisions with you. So how do you balance that? How much do you educate your clients versus making the decisions for them?
Yeah, some people are like, hey, Sophie, here's my money, and
Just
I hope
things.
it works out.
Yeah.
Call me later, right? And that's great. I mean, I understand there's a great degree of trust that has to be there. And even when I do take the time to explain every nuance of a plan, people are like, it's a lot. I meet people at their level, right? So the person that says, I want to understand everything, peel back the layers and give it to me, I'll meet them at their level. If they say, just give me the Cliff Notes version, right? I just want to understand kind of a gist, then again, I'm going to, meet them at their level and give them what they need. So I realize it doesn't really matter what I think. It doesn't matter what I want. It only really matters what the client wants, what the client needs. And then I build plans,
Right.
Accordingly.
But you've become one of the top in the entire industry here in the United States. How did you do that? What was that climb like for you?
I started in the business at 22 years old, right? And I was asked, in the initial interviewing process if I want to be a financial advisor, and I was like, yeah, sure. Like, what is that, right? You hear that? Right? The guy interviewing me was wearing a suit and it was a nice building, so I was like, yeah, I
Can't be that bad.
I can do that, right? And it wasn't really until I got into the industry that I realized what I would be doing, and I really just realized like I'm just really a problem solver, right? I'm connecting with people, finding out where they want to be, and helping them solve problems and putting people together. And so, again, I wish I could say I had this epiphany, and I was like, this is exactly what I should do with my life, and this is exactly how my career will go. Anything but, right? Like, I failed and failed and failed and failed. It's like the Chinese proverb, right? Fall 7 times, stand up 8, right?
I find that so reassuring.
So tell us about your book. You've got Ask the Experts, the unique benefits of working with top professionals.
Right.
What would they learn? They pick up that book?
Yeah, so we had a book that came out this past December. It's on Amazon. Get your copy. I did it as a collaborative book, in that I know a lot about a little bit, right? So you talk about financial planning, that's one little aspect, but you've got, taxes and real estate and law. And so I brought in other professionals that know a lot about a little bit to each contribute a chapter to the book, right? So the layperson can read it and just get some basic insights for a playbook for life, if you will.
Right. I loved Rich Dad Poor Dad and all that. That was like such an influence in my own development of my entrepreneurship and investing. What would you recommend for people? How would they educate themselves? Come into you, read your book, anything else that you would recommend for people?
I mean, technology and the internet's great, right? The bad thing is you're gonna find what you're looking for. Meaning, if you put in, why is something good? You're gonna find a slew of articles. If you put, why is this bad? Also, and then it comes down to, well, who's right? Right. And so I always come from more of a spirit of just education, more so than saying everyone should do this or everyone should do that. No, here's how real estate works, or here's how mutual funds work, here's how insurance works.
Here's what crypto actually means.
Right. Like, now what do you want to do? Now that you know that, right? I said an educated client makes the best decisions, right? So now that you've been educated, how do you want, how do you want to proceed? But yeah, it's fun because no 2 days for me are the same, right? I'm meeting, I always say I'm shaking hands, kissing babies every day, and I'm meeting people, and the only thing that's consistent is gonna be my effort. I'm gonna be out there, I'm gonna really, again, try to build genuine relationships with people and let the chips fall where they may.
What's the hardest part of that, though? The hardest part of what you do?
I think the hardest part about what I do, or what most people look at and they would have the most angst about, is what I look forward to the most, and it's the unknown, right? If I told you, hey, you're gonna work for 12 hours today, and you have absolutely no idea what you're gonna make, right? Most people go, I pass on that, right? And for me, I love it. I love that I'm not limited. I love that I'm not capped. I love that a new relationship I create today might change my life, and so that's what I look forward to. I think the hardest part for people is just that rejection, right? Meeting people, and people are going to do things in their own time for their own reason, and to know, like, I want you to buy, or I want you to invest, or I want you to start planning today, and that person might have something different, right? A different idea, a different mindset, right? And so to know that you're going to fail more than you succeed, I think is probably one of the harder things. But I liken it to baseball, right? A baseball player that bats 300 is an all-star, right? If you bat 300 for your career, right, you'll be a Hall of Famer. But in actuality, that person's up to bat 10 times, they're getting on base 3, they're failing 70% of the time, but they're still considered a great. My industry is very much the same, right? I'm gonna fail and hear no and have people put me off more than not, because no one wakes up in the morning like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna buy some mutual funds, get my state fund money, get some tax funds. Like, nobody wakes up like thinking like I'm gonna do that. So it's really imperative that I get out and shake people up.
But I think that it's an interesting thing, because I think people think investing in financial things is separate, and it's not at all. Like, even if you're building your business, you need to think of, is it an asset, or do you have to just work for per hour? Like, there's a whole mindset around all of it that I think that as people educate themselves in one area around finances, it goes into all their areas.
Right.
Yeah.
It all, to your point, it all permeates.
Yeah.
It's the same, whether it's investing in traditional stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Even I tell people, when you have your own business, that's like a stock. Meaning it can go up 20, 30% this year, it can go down 20, 30% this year. And how do you mitigate risk? How do you plan, and for taxes and asset protection and the like? So it's all related, all related.
Well, such cool work.
Yeah. Really cool. Yeah. Thank you.
How can people find you?
You can find me, my financial website is Taylor, insfin.com. So Taylor, insfin.com. My name is unique, right? Eszylfie. My father's from Ghana, West Africa. So Eszylfie is a Ghanaian name, means son of God. So I got a lot to live
Beautiful.
up
I
to.
love
lot
that.
to
And it
live up to.
reads like easy life,
Yeah.
and we believe in names having. I know how I'm feeling about this one.
I wish it was so easy.
We all
But,
did.
you can find me there. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, obviously.
Yep.
So yeah.
Cool.
Love to connect.
So,
Oh
so
my gosh.
great work.
And you can read his book. You can buy your copy on Amazon.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much
Pleasure.
for all
Thank
your
you.
work. For
Stay
helping
tuned.
Thank
We'll be
you.
back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
Thank you.